I'm from West Bengal,
Okay.
and I'm currently pursuing my MSc.
MSc.
I'm in first year,
Okay.
and in division of entomology.
In which branch? Technology.
Entomology.
Entomology. Very scientific term, entomology. So, what do you do in entomology? Plants?
Insects.
Insects. Insects. So, we'll begin with the invocation prayers. You hear, you just hear, because you have come for the first time. So, which part of Bengal you come from?
Which Bihar?
Which Bihar? It is near to Bihar.
No,
No?
it's near to Darjeeling, Siliguri.
Oh, it is. Okay. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sadivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Most of you are very new. Huh? Anirudh also, you haven't heard the first 6 chapters. I don't think you have even read it. Naina, you have been hearing. आप आ रही हैं? So, what all chapters are you able to go through? No, I'm asking her. She is on the back outside. What is her name? Shreya. कितना पढ़ा आपने? 6 पढ़ा आपने? Full chapter you have been able to read? No, sections. Some part of it. Okay. And how about you? You also have been here a few times? Oh. So my request is become regular. No, because I'm thinking, in this forum, if I proceed, I don't see the purpose. Because if you do not know the previous chapter, like if somebody has not cleared graduation, if I introduce post-graduation, then it does not make much sense. So I will speak basics. Instead of speaking, with the flow of Bhagavad Gita, that requires some practice. And that requires some, devotional deep interest also. Because Krishna is beginning to speak the Bhakti Yoga section, which talks about knowing him. But before you know the person in person, you should know the person in office, is it? If you want to go and meet your director, who is the director of IERI, can you directly go to his house to meet him? Where you can meet him easily? In the office, isn't it? So Krishna, meeting Krishna in his residence is this devotional section of Bhagavad Gita. But first we should know his office and what are his powers, what are his position, Unless and until we know that, then we will not enter into his inner chambers. So Bhagavad Gita is a book, it's a book form now. Actually, it was not in a book form. It is a dialogue. It is a dialogue between two people, like both we are, I'm speaking and you are hearing. But dialogue means you also speak. If I just speak and you hear, it is not a dialogue. So Arjuna is having a dialogue because Arjuna is inquiring about what Krishna is speaking. He wants to understand it fully. So wherever he finds it difficult or where he does not find it comprehensible, he puts the questions. So in a way, Bhagavad Gita is a question answer session. And why this Bhagavad Gita was spoken? The Bhagavad Gita was spoken for primarily two reasons. Very important two reasons. Is how to make this human life become happy. Who in this world does not want to be happy? Is there anyone, if you ask, that if you make a survey, that how many of you want to be happy and how many of you want to remain sad? Will there be any person who will say, I want to remain sad? No. Why? Because the purpose of human life is to become happy. So, how to be happy? And the second purpose is that how, after having come in this human form of life, achieve the purpose of human life. If I ask you what is the purpose of your life, it may be different. Yours may be different. Her may be different. Everyone has a different purpose. But the actual purpose of human life is only one. Any one of you make an attempt? Yeah? Good. And moksha. Moksha means? Acha. Then it means no more rebirth. Why? What is the difficulty? If you have birth, then you have this world and you have the worldly opportunities to enjoy. If you don't have birth, then what you will do? What you will do? So the conception is not very clear. Yeah. कुछ हमने इधर से सुना, किसी ने कहा, कुछ कहीं से पढ़ लिया. So it is very, hazy. It is unclear. So Bhagavad Gita gives direction. Bhagavad Gita removes confusion. Very important. Bhagavad Gita removes the confusion, the bewilderment, the illusion that we are always forced into. You see situations and people, what they do? They put us into such a situation where we are disturbed. We are put into some kind of confusion. So amongst this, in this material world, there will always be situations of confusion. So amidst the confusion, how to have clarity? Very important. If you have clarity, then you will never ever become overburdened, or you will not be in anxiety. In this age, what is the biggest suppressing factor? Is anxiety. And what is the anxiety for? Because there is uncertainty. Where does anxiety come from? Uncertainty. Muted. क्या चीज? कहाँ पे? एंड है. कहाँ है? चला जाएगा. ये भी एक जीव है. So Bhagavad Gita clears the confusion. Any confusion we may have about our career, about our future life, about our success. What is the greatest anxiety that we have? That whether we will be successful or not. That's the biggest challenge. One may not speak, but from inside it is always there. It is always pumping. It is always pumping, or pinching. Or it is rather pinprick. It's always pricking us. It's not allowing us to become peaceful. So Bhagavad Gita resolves all those doubts and delusions that we have. The biggest delusion that Bhagavad Gita removes is it uplifts the disclose that. Because very difficult to hear the spiritual sound. So Bhagavad Gita removes that delusion and doubt, and gives us clarity and conviction so that we can achieve the purpose of human life. So what is the purpose of human life? As you said, it is to become immortal, not just moksha. Moksha we don't know, but become immortal. Immortality is the purpose of human life. In other forms of life, you cannot achieve that. There are so many cats and dogs in this campus, or maybe rats are also there. Can you train them to the art of immortality? No. But humans, by their advanced intelligence, if they apply that intelligence, what is possible? That they can become deathless. In the morning only, one devotee, she wrote a book and she gave it to me. She said, Death, the unstoppable. In this material world, for everyone, death is unstoppable. Can anyone stop death? No one can stop death. Many tried, but till date, has anyone succeeded? All have been failure. But Bhagavad Gita teaches us the art. How to become immortal. How? Because what is mortal is this temporary body. And how the body moves is by the force of spirit. And spirit is immortal. So Bhagavad Gita gives us that knowledge. Bhagavad Gita gives us that experience to uplift us from the shackles of matter and come to the platform of spirit. So if you come to the platform of spirit, if you connect to the platform of spirit, spirit is immortal. So this is the purpose which Bhagavad Gita serves. To serve the and achieve the aim of human life. So that is why this knowledge is important. You are all in the field of acquiring knowledge. Why you have come to IARI? What is the purpose of coming to IARI, Anirudh? For knowledge. For gaining knowledge. Yes. But all this knowledge will be lost when the body is lost. Isn't it? So Bhagavad Gita gives us that knowledge will never be lost. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that this knowledge can never be lost. So this is eternal knowledge. It is everlasting knowledge. So it is important. So in the first 6 chapters, what we had discussed, Krishna was speaking, Krishna was inspiring Arjuna. Krishna was motivating Arjuna. So Krishna is the best motivational speaker. Today you see so many motivational speakers come and leave. But one who has survived for so many centuries is Lord Shri Krishna. Because his Bhagavad Gita is still most read. If you see the bestseller among the world, and the motivational speaker, they claim that they are the bestsellers. But none of them are the bestsellers. They are all sold out. They are all lost. But Krishna is one who is there. And his Bhagavad Gita copies circulation is every year expanding. Even after so many thousands of years. So Krishna is the best motivational speaker. And what Krishna does, he inspires Arjuna. And through the inspiration, Arjuna can achieve immortality. And so Arjuna has been taken an example, like a case study. Do you do case study here? No. You do plant study. There are some case studies. Okay. So in the case study, there is a model. So you work on that model, and once the model becomes successful, what you can do? You can apply that model to the universal part. Yeah. And it becomes applicable. That is what science is. That there is a cause and there is an effect. If the cause is right, then the effect is also perfect. And you can replicate it anywhere and everywhere. That is what science means. That it has universal application. It's not specific to one, and it will not work with other. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives the art of performing action and achieving perfection. How to perform an action which makes you become perfect. Perfect in a sense that you achieve the purpose. So this is what Bhagavad Gita is. So in the first chapter, there is the presentation of who all are there in the sides of the armies. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield. Very interesting. Krishna did not choose a classroom, or he did not choose an ashram or a garden. What he chose? He chose the battleground. Why? Because in the Kali Yuga, the mind of the living entity in the human form of life is just like a battleground. Is it not? In our mind, there are so many conflicting ideas and thoughts, and they are always dragging us, pulling us in so many directions. So the living entity, the jiva, is always in such mental anxiety and mental stress. So how to overcome that stress? Battleground can be compared to the mental stress. Is there anyone, who is free of, are you free of stress? Huh? No? Out of 365 days, how many days you can say there is no stress? Very difficult, huh? Anyone else whose life is, wait, let them get a feel of what we are speaking. What do you feel? How many days in a month you are free from stress? No? It is, forced upon us. It has been glued. तो चिपका दिया गया, जबरदस्ती चिपका दिया. However you try to release it, what happens? It comes back with a force. So what is this stress? This stress is a reflection of the anxiety that we are having in the heart. So that is why we have so many heart attacks. There are so many heart issues. People have so many diseases now. If you go 50 years back, there were hardly any cardiac heart arrest. Very few, very less. But why this is happening? Because there is so much of pressure on the heart that the heart is not able to bear. So how can a person be happy with a heavy heart? Is it possible? कि आपका हृदय दुखी है और आप सुखी हैं? हो सकता है? नहीं हो सकता. तो भगवद गीता में भगवान ने ये बताया कि how to be free from all the so-called suffering. Actually, there is no suffering in this world. The suffering is only fourfold. The fourfold suffering is birth, death, old age, and disease. So if we apply it to Bhagavad Gita, it gives solution to all these four. And it releases us from this temporary life, of our life of attachment with matter. How the attachment of matter is? Because we consider ourselves a product of matter. That is body. The Bhagavad Gita gives us the knowledge about soul, spirit soul. The first chapter talks about the relative comparison of who all are there. And why Krishna chose to speak on the battlefield? Because as I said, in Kali Yuga, everyone's mind will remain battlefield. When the battle will be over? Will the battle be over? No. The life will be over. But the battle will continue. And then, the unfortunate part is that even after you leave this life, if you leave this body, the soul leaves this body, you will not get salvation. Why? Because in the next body, the same mind will continue. The same subtle body continues. It is actually the subtle body, the mind was achieved. He carries the living entity from one body to another. So what we have to change? What we have to change? Huh? Just think. What do we have to change? Huh? What one has to go change, na? If you don't change that, bodies will keep changing. So what we have to change? Huh? Our mind. Our mind. So Bhagavad Gita is a mind-changing seminar for how to control the nothing else. Did externally anything change for Arjuna? Did the Kaurava side change? Did Bhishma Pitama came to the Arjuna side? Did Dronacharya came to the Arjuna side? Nothing changed. Everything remained the same. But what change was? Arjuna's mindset. Arjuna's mindset. And now you see this bestseller Bhagavad Gita. Who is the hero? Arjuna still remains the hero. Arjuna still uh, is being heard, is being glorified, even after so many centuries. Very important. So, a student of Bhagavad Gita, everyone tries that he should become friend with his mind. Where is the stress coming from? What is the source of stress? Is the mind. Just think. We are thinking that the mind is mine or he is my friend. And what is he creating for us? Huh? What is he giving us? He's giving us the most suffering in the form of so many negative thoughts, so much stress, so much anxiety, so much insecurity. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us not to identify with the body, which is temporary, which takes birth and which dies, and also not to identify ourselves with mind. It is not so easy. It will require a deep practice. But if one has a desire, it is possible. That is why Krishna spoke about it. With the message of Bhagavad Gita, with the instruction of Lord Krishna, what we can do, we can change our. So Bhagavad Gita is purposely spoken to make our conceptions change, make our priorities change, make our thinking change. And when our thinking is changing, then as our thoughts are, so will be our words. And what our words are, so will be our actions or acts. So to overcome the influence of both the body and mind, Krishna scripts, Bhagavad Gita, to bring this jiva to the spiritual platform, to the eternal platform of soul. That is why Krishna spoke to them. So in the first chapter, there is, as I said, assessment of the armies. Who two are there? And Arjuna is coming under extreme anxiety and stress because on the opposite side, what he sees his own cousins. He's not affected by the cousins because the cousins played foul with him. The cousins cheated him in the dice game. They snatched away their kingdom. They tried to disrobe Draupadi. So they did all kind of, evil acts. But he is very overwhelmed to see the grandfather Bhishma, who is saintly, for whom they have so much of respect and affection. So Arjuna is thinking, how can I fight with him? Or how can I kill him? Then he's thinking about Dronacharya. But they are not thinking. The problem is that they are not thinking. That although so much injustice has been done against the Pandavas, they are still on the side of the very important, very deep lesson. So many times in our family life and so, we are too attached to be able to see. If we are attached to the person who is doing wrong, then what do? We become a co-person in that wrong. How? By supporting. Should not do that. And Krishna wanted to establish this fact that whoever he may be, if he is on the wrong side, what will happen? He can never be victorious. He'll be slain. Whoever may be the person, however he may be, higher in position or higher in possessions, if one is not acting as per the dharma, the principles of dharma, he'll be eliminated. So very important for us to know what is dharma, so that we don't be on the wrong side. We don't be with the wrong people. We be with the right person, so that we can achieve the purpose of human life. Otherwise, there is no possibility. So in this way, there is an assessment of the two parties and those who are the chieftains. Chieftains means those who are the main warriors. Their names are mentioned. And on the opposite side, the main person is Duryodhana. And on the side of the Pandava, the main person is Arjuna. So Arjuna is a very ideal disciple. He's an ideal disciple. So he respects his guru and he does not want to argue or have any conflict with his guru. On the other side, we see Duryodhana, who is the example of a disobedient disciple. So he begins by questioning the loyalty of his guru, not having faith in him. So this is how the dialogue begins in Bhagavad Gita. And Duryodhana tells Drona and Bhishma that how their army is having more strength as compared to the strength of the Pandavas. Of course, what is the source of their strength? It is two personalities, Bhishma and Drona. Bhishma had the benediction that he cannot be killed by anyone. And he was the foremost warrior. He was even far more greater than Arjuna. He was trained by Lord Parshuram himself. And Drona was the teacher. He taught Arjuna. And Arjuna is not having this feeling of that he is performing the fight to protect the dharma. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us from the first chapter that if we have to perform dharma, if we have to protect dharma, it will not be very favorable. Those who are your very own, what they will do, they will oppose you. It will be there. It has happened since time immemorial and it will continue. That is why in IRI we see how many have come. Only few, 5, 7 of you. Others are busy in other activities, temporary activities. So there is a comparative strength analysis, and Duryodhana is boasting that how his military strength is far superior as compared to the strength of the Pandavas. But in spite of that, Duryodhana is under extreme stress and insecurity in his heart. Why? Because he is feeling that although Drona and Bhishma are on his side, they have affection for the Pandavas. Okay. You see this material world now? You see in every relation, there is only external show of the relationship. Within the heart, what is there? An element of doubt. That is why you see, no two persons can go along. If you see any relationship, very difficult for two persons to go along. Why? Because what is lacking? There is no faith, there is no trust. Rather, there is an element of mistrust. So Duryodhana is the representation of mistrust. Although the two great generals are from his side, even though he is on the adharmic side, he is on the path of irreligion, but still he is thinking that they might not favor the Pandavas and I might not lose. So he is trying to warn both of them that any leniency on your part can make us lose the battle, although we are in a very strong position. So in a way, he is already past the blame. What is the blame that he is passing? That if we lose, who are the reason? You two will be the reason. Because of you only we will lose. Although they are the winning factor for him. So in this way, and then when Arjuna sees both of them on the opposite side, Arjuna is overwhelmed with compassion and affection. And he tells Krishna that I don't want to. Arjuna shows renunciation. He says, I can give up the kingdom, but I cannot kill my superiors. But even after having said so, Arjuna is completely confused. Arjuna cannot decide what to do. Like even after coming to IARI, You have clear mandate. What you have to do? You have to pursue your course and excel. And you have to prepare for further, whatever is the advanced study or specialization. But I see here students, after joining, after getting admission, what they will start thinking, they will come under extreme stress. What is the stress? That whether they will get their career opportunity or not, whether they will get job or not, whether they will get employment or not, whether they will get emolument salaries or not, whether they will get car bungalow or not, whether they will get a beautiful spouse or not. So many doubts are there, so many questions are there. And what happens? They are easily deviated. They are easily distracted. From what they should be doing, they stop doing what they should be doing. And what they should not be doing, they enter and absorb themselves. So what happens? They are not able to accomplish much. And within very short time, most of them come under extreme stress. And this stress leads to frustration. Frustration. Very important. The Bhagavad Gita is a guiding force, the guiding principle in our life. So it encompasses us to perform duty. So Arjuna was running away from his duty. What was his duty as a Kshatriya? To protect the religion. Kshatriya. Shata means harm. The one who protects from harm is a Kshatriya. That is the position of a king. King is supposed to protect the citizens and protect the citizens in a way so that they can perform and perfect the human form of life. Actually, that is the position of all leaders. Whoever takes the leadership role, he has responsibility. With leadership also comes the responsibility. But people now, they don't want to take the responsibility, but they want to take the position. That will not work. That is why what is there? That is dissatisfaction and frustration. So Arjuna is honest. Arjuna at least confesses that he is confused. But the problem with Kali Yuga is again manifold. What is the biggest problem in Kali Yuga? That we do not accept what is the real situation. What we try to do? We try to cover or hide. The Kali Yuga means only show, hypocrisy, no substance. But Arjuna is extraordinary. That Arjuna accepts with his teacher that, my dear teacher, my dear sir, I do not know what is good for me. Then you please tell me, what should I be doing? Like if you consult your teacher, then he will give you, then he can guide you. If you don't consult, if you allow your mind to be your teacher, then how can the teacher guide you? And who will guide you the better, your mind or your teacher? But invariably we choose our mind. So we remain in that trap. And we remain in anxiety and depression and stress. So Krishna gives knowledge. Krishna gives knowledge about the spiritual part, which Arjuna is lacking. So all of us are lacking in this knowledge of spiritual aspect. We have so much of material knowledge. The medical science has so much knowledge about the body. But can the medical science preserve the body? Do they have the technology or the know-how? No. What drives the body? Do they have any knowledge about it? No. They have only limited knowledge about the external part. But they do not have the access to what is inside, which drives the body. So Krishna first gives the Atma Gyan. And he tells Arjuna that neither you can die, nor Bhishma can die. Because both are eternal. Both are spiritual. So Krishna explains in detail about the temporal position of the body and the eternal position of the soul. And soul can never be harmed. How can it be harmed when it cannot be seen? When it cannot be detected? Is there any technology which can detect the soul? You are coming for the first time? Second time? Studying here in IRI? Or you are a visitor? Achha, you have already passed. Okay, okay. So this Atma Gyan is the Gyan or the essential knowledge which is missing in modern world. No one is equipped with this knowledge of the spirit. So if the spirit is missing, then everything else is matter, and matter is already dead. So from dead matter, how can you experience any satisfaction? How can you experience any happiness? So Krishna brings Arjuna to the platform of spirit soul. So that's a very beautiful section of Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna gives a deep discourse, and he proves Arjuna that you are not this body, you are spirit. And Arjuna is hearing. So how can we receive this knowledge that we are not this body, we are soul? Through the hearing process of Bhagavad Gita. So when we come to the 7th chapter, which I did not begin here, although 3 verses have happened, one first verse Dr. Dolamani gave, and the other 2 verses Dr. Manish Devnath gave. But I'm not proceeding, because this is for those who have actually studied to some extent. So Krishna tells Arjuna that don't be very much overwhelmed or obsessed with that is temporal, and come to the spiritual platform. Because if you come to the spiritual platform and if you perform duties, you will always be happy. You will always be. So happiness in life will not come by having possessions. Everyone in this world is thinking, how can I be happy if I have the Apple phone? Most of the people are thinking, what is their happiness quotient if they can have Apple phone? Because most of the time people spend with whom? With the mobile phone. Why? Because relationships they cannot maintain. As I said, it is very difficult to have relationship. Why? Because in relationship, you have to invest and you have to sacrifice. And in this modern age, no one is willing. Everyone wants that the other person should agree on my terms. And that will never happen. Yeah. So, Krishna spoke, and he first spoke about the Atma God. So, material possessions or material objects will not make the person happy. So you have to come to the platform of soul. So don't identify yourself with body. So everybody, that is the means to, by thinking that we will eat sumptuously. If you eat once, do you become happy forever? No. Because repeatedly you have to do the same act. Because I got a good feast yesterday, so is it sufficient for me today? I need it again. And even if I eat every day, what will happen? The body will become diseased. Right or no? I purposefully chose not to eat today, even in the evening shift. Why? Because for last many days we were having so much festival and so much of eating. So what will happen? Overeating is the cause of disease. So that means eating cannot give us pleasure. If eating alone could have given us pleasure, by eating we would have become happy. It's not happening. Sleeping also. If one can have lot of sleep, what people now want? That no one wants to wake them up. They want to sleep. But eating, sleeping, mating, and depending, these are all bodily pleasures. With the bodily pleasure, the spirit soul cannot experience. And that is why in this material world, now people have more possessions, but very less peace. Why? Because these possessions cannot give any peace to the heart, any satisfaction to the heart. So Krishna is speaking about this tattva of Atma. So this is Atma. And he tells Arjuna to leave the bodily platform and come to the platform of Atma. But how to do that? In theory, we all know that we are not this body, we are soul. But where is the experience? Do we have any experience of soul? Or to speak of realization. So then Krishna gives the process. How to come to the platform of soul. How? Very beautiful. Very interesting. Krishna says that if you perform your duty. So Bhagavad Gita explains that what is dharma Dharma is not isolated that Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai और आपस में सब करे लड़ाई. That is not dharma. That is adharma. So what is dharma? Dharma is to perform one's duty. And what is the duty? Duty is given by the spiritual master. We cannot decide. A thief cannot decide that he will go and rob a bank and he says, I am doing my duty. Or a butcher may go and slaughter an animal and he say, I am doing my duty. No. Duty is given by some higher authority. And who is that higher authority? Who is authorized? Authorized by whom? Authorized by the Supreme Lord. So who are authorized? Those who are representatives of Supreme Lord. So Krishna guides Arjuna to perform his duty. So that is the major prominent portion of the first 6 chapters of the Gita. Krishna tells Arjuna that performing duty is always beneficial. That even if you die while fighting, what will happen? In the next birth, because you perform duty while dying, you will get a better position. You will get a higher position. And if you win by performing duty, you will get the opportunity to rule. So in both cases, what you will do? You will be better placed. You will be in a better position to enjoy life better. And if you don't perform duty, what will happen? Sin will be inflicted. So having come to IRI so many times, I say, if you do not study, if you do not devote your energy, if you do not devote your time and gaining the knowledge for which you have come here, then what you are doing? You are not performing your dharma. Not performing the dharma. And one who does not perform dharma, what happens to him? He has to face the reactions. So there are 2 types of dharma. One is on the bodily platform. So on the bodily platform, what we have to do? We have to perform occupational duties. Duty which is related to this material world and to this material body. Of course, we have a combination of both. The body is material, but the spirit is the soul. So we have to perform both dharma. So the material dharma is occupational duties. Like a student has to study. A businessman has to earn profit. If he does not earn profit, then he is not doing profit. Dharma, how will he maintain the family? Yeah. But if a person is in the profession of teacher, so what is his dharma? To impart knowledge, to educate and give learning to others. And if, what do teachers do now? They say that if you want to really get good position, what you have to do? You have to join my academy. After the sessions in the school or the classes of the college, they have their own academy where they teach. Hundreds of students and they charge thousands of rupees. That is it dharma? Adharma. They'll be inflicted. So that is why you see in this world, everyone is suffering. Isn't it? And how the suffering is inflicted? The foremost part of suffering is in the form of stress. And what is the result of the stress? Is there any reason for stress? If you diagnose or analyze, is there any actual reason for stress? There is no reason. So this negativity is coming from where? From within, from inside. And what is this negativity? This negativity is the result of this sinful reaction of not performing one's action. If we fail to perform our action, which is dharma, invariably we will suffer. And how the suffering is coming? Through the stress. Or so many other. So in Kali Yuga, study has been done by WHO many times, many years back, that there will be more psychiatric patients. Why? Because there is so much of stress. There is so much of imbalance. So this is a result of our not performing dharma. So if we don't study Bhagavad Gita, then what we will be doing? What we will be doing? We'll perform a dharma. But what will be the guiding force? Is our mind to decide? And what is the decision based on? I will do what I like and I will do not do what I dislike. But on the duty principle, on the dharmic principle, is this possible? No. Not possible. So how to convert the adharmic life to come to the dharmic life, to be on the right side of the religion?
is to perform one's duty. And when you say the duty platform, you cannot decide what I will do and what I will not do. Have you heard this slogan that duty first and self last? So on the duty platform, what you are supposed to do, you must do. Like if you are supposed to attend the classes, you cannot say that today I don't feel like having it. Or you are supposed to submit your assignments or your test or your reports, whatever. If you don't do, what will happen? You cannot pass. So duty means that you keep your likes and dislikes at a distance. And you do what you are supposed to do. That is called discipline. That is called discipline in life. What is the biggest problem or the biggest challenge of the modern age? That people have become indisciplined. They have become disobedient. And because of this indiscipline and disobedience, there is constant suffering in them. So Krishna removed this situation of Arjuna by guiding him by giving the principle of performing duty. That is the very famous verse, Karmanye Vadhikaraste. You have only one right. What is the right? Is to perform your duty. You have only one adhikar. Now, what is that adhikar? Adhikar, you understand, na? The right is to perform your duty. And never ever we become attached to performing a duty based on the result of duty. So that is why Krishna motivates and inspires Arjuna to perform the duty, not thinking of the result. Most of the time, our attention and our absorption is where? In the result, in the fruit. That what will be the gain for me? If the gain is to my liking, I will do it. Otherwise, I will not do it. Many years back, I did a survey when I was in my professional life. I was, segmenting the countries. So in UK, I found out that most of the people who are working, they were only working because they had to pay their checks. Otherwise, they will not work. So that kind of lethargy has, crept into the consciousness of the human body, the human life. There is no such a thought of performing one's duty. So that is why you will see, as Kali Yuga will advance, the family system will disintegrate. It has already disintegrated. It's already been disintegrated. Why it has disintegrated? Because this consciousness of duty is not. The wife is not willing to perform her duty. The husband is not willing to perform his duty. The children are not willing to perform their duty. So there is always conflict. There is always war. So Krishna spoke this Bhagavad Gita and he gave the inspiration and the motivation of Arjuna to perform duty. Whether it is to one's liking or towards one's dislike. That is, one has to keep at a distance. So if one becomes duty conscious, so one can progress. If one does not become duty conscious, then what will happen? One will degrade. So the degradation, it is not necessary that in the next life, the soul may go to the human life. No. If you have performed duty, if you have progressed, then only you will get human life or higher than human life. But if you have not performed duty, you have performed sin, then one will be degraded to the lower species. So Krishna inspired Arjuna and tells him to perform his duty. By performing duty without attachment to result, one can come to the realization that he is not responsible. There is no other way. You may do whatever. You may read Bhagavad Gita 100 times, or you may know all the verses 100 times. One devotee tried. He thought that, difference between Atma and body, what he will do, he went through the shlokas many times, he memorized all the shlokas, all the purport, everything, but it does not work. What one has to do? One has to apply it. One must perform duty. So if you have performed duty, then what will be the gain? The biggest gain of performing duty is that you will come to this knowledge. You will gain this knowledge that you are not this body. Can you make me meet anyone in this world who has this knowledge? That he is not his body? Why? Because he is not performing duty. So Bhagavad Gita guides us, inspires us to perform our duty. Because if you perform duty, there is a inbuilt gain. that will help you to achieve the purpose of human life. And what is the purpose of human life? Remember? What is the purpose of human life, Balram? Become immortal. So how to become immortal? By performing one's duty. And what is the duty? Duty which is assigned by the representative of Krishna. Not that we decide. As I gave example. A butcher may think that slaughtering an animal is my duty. A robber may think, or an alcoholic may think that drinking is my duty. But that does not become his duty. So, according and how the duty is decided, according to one's psychophysical nature. For those who are students, we don't tell you to leave everything and come to the temple. We never tell you. Like one of the foremost practitioners is here, Dr. Dolamai. Where is he? Where does he stay? In his house. And what does he do? His scientific work. But he's a practitioner. So he's performing both the duties. He's performing the bodily dharma of the occupational duty, and he's also performing the Sanatan dharma, which is of the soul. What is the Sanatan dharma? Is to connect with the Supreme. Because our relationship is very simple. Our relation with our body is with whom? With our mother and father. So this body, when we get from our mother and father, what do we feel? What is our feeling? Connected, and we feel obliged. Yeah, that what they have done so much for us. The mother gave us birth. She brought us up. Father earned so much. He worked so hard. And with their, affection and with their hard work, we are now what we are. So there is an obligation, isn't it? There is a sense of duty towards trying to repay them back for what they have done for us in our life. But this relationship, can it continue? No. As I said, it has a date of birth. Every one of us, we have a birth certificate which declares that what is my date of birth. So before that date, did the body exist? No. And after a certain period of time, the body will die. Or the relationship with the mother and father will end if they leave before. But what about soul? When the body, which is temporary, which takes birth and which dies, it has its mother and father, its origin. So what about soul? Does it have no origin? There is no mother and father. How is it possible? So Krishna speaks in the 9th chapter that Pita Aham Asya Sarva Mata Dhata Pita. That the origin of all the soul is the Supreme Lord, the Super Soul. So our duty is also to connect with Him and to satisfy. Like we all, how the mother and father is happy? When the child satisfies them. How? By following what they give. And when they are unhappy? When we disregard what they say. So similarly, at the soul level, we also have our connection with the Supreme Lord. And how to connect with Him, that is the process which is given in. That is the process of Shravanam Kirtanam. So the 7th chapter begins by Krishna again speaking to Arjuna saying, Tashrunu. Here. So performing duty is for the bodily platform, and performing devotion is for the spiritual platform. So first we should perform our duty in our occupational part. There is a sense of responsibility. So bhakti can only begin when you come to the platform of duty. If you are below the platform of duty, what is the platform? Don't speak. What is the platform? Below duty is of desire. Desire means the mental platform. What I like, I will do. It is called Ichha Dvesha Samudaya. According to my liking and according to my dislikes. So liking is Ichha and Dvesha is dislike. So we do what we like and we dispense what we dislike. So that one has to rise above. So then one comes to the duty platform. And one performs the duty according to the guide, or according to Bhagavad Gita, according to the division of what you are, according to the occupation in where you are. Like a farmer. Farmer's duty is not to come and study in high year. His duty is different. What is his duty? His duty is to produce the yields. Your duty is to study. A doctor's duty is to be saving the patient. So everyone, according to the occupation, has different duty. It's not same for everyone. So if we perform this duty well, with a selfless interest, not trying to gain on the personal basis of how to enjoy this body through that occupation, then one cannot have this knowledge. So if one acts for the real welfare of others, not keeping the selfish interest or not trying to gain or enjoy the fruits of one's work, then one can receive this knowledge. This is the criteria that Bhagavad Gita says. And most importantly, it gives us the platform to come to the duty level, to become disciplined, to become distinguished, and become free from sins. Only those people can experience happiness who are free from sin. Can a sinful person be happy? How can he be happy? Not possible. So if we come to the duty platform, what happens is we are above the platform of performing sins by performing duty. And when we become pure, only a pure person can know who he is. That he is not this body, he is soul. So that knowledge is given. What is the time? Where is the time? So in this way, in the second chapter, Krishna gives the jnana. And in the third chapter, and the fourth chapter, and the fifth chapter, Krishna gives the process of how to achieve this jnana through the process of action. How to perform selfless action. All of us are performing with action, selfish action. One devotee was explaining that there are so many fishes in the sea. There is the starfish, there is the jellyfish, and so many fish. But on land, there is the most dangerous fish, and that is selfish. Selfish. So the selfish act cannot give us any realization. So Krishna gives the inspiration, and one who acts on his duty platform without selfish interest or selfish motivation, he receives the knowledge. And what is the advantage of one who is in knowledge? That is the fourth chapter. That is called the Jnana. That how this knowledge helps the person to always remain happy, to always remain free from the life of sin. In today's world, the orientation is completely opposite. Everyone is thinking, no one is thinking about sin. What they are thinking, how we can become happy. And what they are taking the means or the avenue is a sinful life. So if they lead a sinful life, how can they ever experience happiness? They will have to undergo the suffering. So that is why in today's world, you may have wealth, you may have gadgets, you may have cars, and you may have whatever. But one thing you will never have, and that is the satisfaction of the heart. Why? Because you have not performed your duty. So, Krishna gives in this first 6 chapters the emphasis to perform one's duty. And when one performs one duty, one can realize that he is neither the body, neither he is the mind. So, and then Krishna will talk about devotion. From the 7th chapter onwards, Krishna will talk about devotion. But who can, practice devotion? At least who is on the duty platform. So Krishna first gave the first 6 chapters of performing action without enjoying the mentality of results of the action, which is called Nishkam. Everyone in this world is performing an action with the option to enjoy the results of the fruits. It's called Sakam. Sakam. So he has to change. As like my purpose of coming here is what? Is to just reveal this knowledge. I don't know who is coming, who is not coming, how many are coming, how many will expect, how many will not expect. It is all depending on Supreme Lord Krishna. And I don't get any revenue from you. There is no charge, no fees. In fact, I spend my own conveyance vehicle. Why? Because I'm trying to practice to some part. So what will be the gain? If anyone accepts this knowledge or not, what will be the gain? At least I will get a better understanding of it. So nishkam, wherever the kama you understand, is the desire to enjoy. The desire to enjoy is the cause of suffering. Then we will come to the 5th chapter. Krishna explains that ye hi samsparshaja bhoga dukha yoni. All the seed of suffering is coming from the desire to enjoy. Enjoy what? On the basis of mind and body. Because on the mind and body, one cannot enjoy. One will only be inflicted to suffering. So Krishna says that only unintelligent people, they are interested in such pursuits of everything. But those who are intelligent, what is the next line? But because every so-called material enjoyment, it has beginning and it has at adi beginning and end. So not issue who is wise, one who is intelligent. Not intelligent, temporary. You don't think standard lifespan. Those things are lost.
गणेश प्रभु प्रभु जी का कनेक्शन लॉस्ट हो गया है.
See, knowledge alone is not sufficient. Because unless and until the knowledge becomes the experience or the realization, it will not stay. Now, most of it is got from you. When you get something new, old is lost. Because our capacity is limited. You cannot retain it. So to retain it,